News 2.
On World News Tonight this Sunday, standing down but standing tough.
Iraq has backed down, but that is not enough. Now Iraq must live up to its obligations.
In Iraq, they're calling it a victory. And the new danger emerging from the mud of Hurricane Mitch.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Sunday, with Elizabeth Vargas reporting tonight from London.
Good evening. In Iraq tonight, it is back to square one again. Plans for a military strike against Iraq have been put on hold, and the United Nations weapons inspectors are scheduled to go back to work. But in the Gulf, the military buildup continues. And in Washington, there is plenty of skepticism that this time Saddam Hussein will keep his word. ABC's Carla Davis is at the White House.
A day after the president issued, then rescinded orders to bomb Iraq, Mr. Clinton declared the U.S. the winner in the stare-down with Saddam Hussein.
Our willingness to strike, together with the overwhelming weight of world opinion, produced the outcome we preferred. Saddam Hussein reversing course. Iraq has backed down, but that is not enough. Now Iraq must live up to its obligations.
The primary obligation, unfettered access for 120 United Nations weapons inspectors who will now head back to Iraq. In letters to the UN last night, deputies for Saddam Hussein explained Iraq's intention to work with the UN Special Commission, inspecting chemical and biological weapons programs.
Our decision to resume relations with UNSCOM is unequivocal and is unconditional.
But the United States and its staunchest ally, Great Britain, remain skeptical. The troop buildup in the Persian Gulf continues.
Saddam Hussein needs to know that we remain ready, willing, and able to strike.
And today, 6 B-52s and 10 F-117s began arriving in the Gulf region, bringing the number of U.S. planes there to nearly 200. It is a force that the president should use, not repeatedly threaten to use, according to critics in Washington.
He should have said, next time there's a place that you don't allow us to inspect, stand by because it'll be destroyed.
But the Clinton administration is granting Iraq another chance to cooperate, saying Saddam may be more inclined to comply this time because support from Iraq's allies is dwindling and because Saddam Hussein now sees a military strike may be just one broken promise away. The president stopped short of calling for the overthrow of Saddam Hussein, but did indicate the U.S. will increase efforts to help anti-Saddam forces within Iraq to accomplish the long-term goal of bringing the current regime down. Carla Davis, ABC News, the White House.
Washington is claiming victory in getting Saddam Hussein to back down, but Saddam Hussein is also claiming victory tonight. ABC's Morton Dean is in Baghdad.
On television this evening, there was a long special on today's celebration of Baghdad Day, 1,200 years old, first called the City of Peace. There were no specials on the crisis. And on the main evening news, it was not even the lead story, but 10 minutes in, there was no mention of President Clinton's statement. The government-controlled morning newspapers had already helped prepare public opinion on the wisdom of Iraq's doing the about-face. The decision was wise. It was a new victory. It pulled the rug from under the feet of the American administration. Most Iraqis could not have known how close an attack was on Saturday night. The B-52s were already in the air. No mention of that on TV or in the papers. Even though Iraq has been through all this before, diners tonight said that the threat of an attack was not taken casually. He said, yes, of course we were expecting a strike at any moment, and we were prepared for it.
In an interview tonight, Iraq's Deputy Prime Minister Tariq Aziz strongly condemned President Clinton's statement, especially his suggestion that it might be time for someone else to become president of Iraq to replace Saddam Hussein. Morton Dean, ABC News, Baghdad.
Among Iraq's neighbors, the reaction to today's news is mixed. There is mistrust of Saddam Hussein, but there is also criticism of the U.S. ABC's Richard Gisbert has that story.
In Cairo this morning, well before the White House made its announcement,
the headlines were already saying Iraq had given in to America. But not all Egyptians were happy with the way it happened. America shouldn't make military threats every time there's a problem, he says. In Jordan, state-run TV quoted President Clinton on Baghdad backing down and on his call for a change of Iraqi government. However, nowhere in the Arab world is the hostility for Saddam Hussein as great as it is here in Kuwait. Having suffered at the hands of Iraq's military once, Kuwaitis have good reason to mistrust the intentions of the Iraqi leader. And some don't like the idea of Saddam Hussein being able to negotiate yet another diplomatic solution.
We prepared the war with him because we want from United States to give him, to teach him very well.
But there were signs that after so many showdowns in Iraq, some Kuwaitis are less worried about the possible consequences. This store sold about 2,000 gas masks during the build-up 9 months ago. This time, it got a lot of calls, but only about 100 buyers. And the TV sets at Kuwait City's Desert Storm Cafe were tuned out of the news this evening and tuned into American wrestling. Two indications that while people in Kuwait still consider Saddam Hussein their enemy, they're weary of his pattern of defiance, followed by capitulation at the 11th hour. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, Kuwait City.
There is much more to come on World News Tonight this Sunday, including the ship that tried to outrun Hurricane Mitch and lost.
This is World News Tonight Sunday, brought to you by the new Silverado.
Truck. The award. The new Chevy Silverado, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. It's bigger, it's more powerful. It's the truck from Chevrolet.
There's an athlete amongst us, disguised as a mother and a neighbor. And when most of us are still sleeping, she's running. She also takes the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and folic acid in Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made by General Nutrition Centers. Tomorrow, she'll get up and run some more. Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made exclusively by GNC. Live strong, live well.
When you get heartburn, indigestion, and pain, don't get these to relieve all your symptoms. When pain this bad grabs you, don't grab these for complete or fast relief. Problems this bad need the 100% solution. Alka-Seltzer, the only one with effervescent power to speed relief and medicines for all your symptoms. Heartburn and pain are no problem with the 100% solution, Alka-Seltzer. And try the best tasting Alka-Seltzers ever, cherry and lemon lime.
Because of the situation in Iraq, Vice President Gore is taking President Clinton's place at the Pacific Rim Economic Summit in Malaysia. There's already been controversy. There were street clashes today between Malaysian troops and protesters who want the Prime Minister thrown out. Next door in Indonesia, where the dictator Suharto was driven from power this spring, things are starting to fall apart again. It is quiet today, but after 2 days of terrible violence, no one is very confident it will last. ABC's Mark Litke is in the capital, Jakarta.
For several days, Indonesia appeared to be heading toward the abyss. The armed forces fired point blank on thousands of student demonstrators. Buildings were set ablaze, shops looted. Senseless mobs attacked ethnic Chinese, the usual scapegoats in times of civil unrest here. Then, almost as suddenly as it started, the chaos stopped, or at least paused. Today, Jakarta and its university campuses were remarkably quiet. The troops in the street relaxed and friendly, and no one here can say for certain what it means. Everywhere, there are mixed messages. The uncertainty here tonight is not unusual for Indonesia. This is a country in which the national art form is shadow puppets, plays in which the identities and motivations of characters are hidden from view. While President B.J. Habibi appeared on television this weekend, promising some political reforms demanded by the students, he's also ordered the armed forces to do whatever's necessary to keep the peace. Students who've seen their friends and colleagues gunned down have denounced the military as murderers. Yet they cheered and embraced this contingent of well-disciplined Marines who arrived yesterday and brought order to the streets. There are so many questions. Are students being led by idealistic reformists or hardcore revolutionaries? Is the new president a friend of reform or another dictator in the making? Is the military split between hardliners and moderates? Whether Indonesia's terrible pain in recent days will lead toward greater democracy or greater repression depends on so many factors and so many answers which tonight are still in the shadows. Mark Littke, ABC News, Jakarta.
When we come back, why Hurricane Mitch may keep killing for years when our broadcast from London continues.
Being vibrant is reserved for the very young. Do you believe that? Neither do we, because there are women who are living proof that there is something amazing for maturing skin.
The healthy radiance feels like it's coming back.
In Europe, women like us have tested a breakthrough concept in skincare, new Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay.
These products are created especially for maturing skin. The dryness, fine lines, and wrinkles. Formulas that can immediately change the look of the skin.
The Pro-Vital formula is enriched with Olay moisture, essential oils, and provitamins A, B5, and vitamin E, resulting in smoother skin, less visible signs of aging, helping to restore the look of youthful vitality.
My skin is glowing, smooth, and moisturized. I love the feel of my skin again.
Now Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay is available in the U.S. Maturing skin can look more radiant and revitalized. New Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay, proven to help you look revitalized.
I'm 64. Is there anything I can do to stop bone loss?
Absolutely. Here's proof. In a landmark clinical study, Caltrate actually stopped bone loss in women at risk for osteoporosis, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
Life's an adventure because you're over 50 and still exploring. So take the Centrum made just for you, Centrum Silver, with age-essential nutrients specially adjusted to keep pace with your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
So I get this mail from Progressive saying they have a smart new way to shop for auto insurance.
Progressive, can I help you?
They give you their rates plus the rates of several other companies. I wonder whose rates are going to be lowest.
It looks like you could save over $200 if you went with...
What? You're an insurance company?
Hey, we know how hard it is to shop for auto insurance. A lot of times we're the lowest. Sometimes we're not.
That's not what I expected from an insurance company. And then he said, well, maybe you should.
Call 1-800-AUTO-PRO or your authorized independent agent.
In Honduras and Nicaragua, they are still digging out from the devastation of Hurricane Mitch. And now a new danger is emerging from the mud. ABC's Mike Von Fremd reports that this threat is likely to be around for years.
Everywhere, the cleanup effort is a back-breaking process. But along the Nicaraguan-Honduran border, it is terrifying. Tens of thousands of landmines planted during the 1980s primarily by the leftist government of Nicaragua are now threatening farmers and peasants. In the torrential rains, everything, including landmines, washes down the mountain to the river. And the problem is, this is where the poor come to get water and wash their clothes. Already, one Nicaraguan family has lost a loved one who stepped on a mine, and this man was blinded in an explosion. A group of American advisors who train mine-clearing teams in Bosnia and Afghanistan has flown here to help. They are military and law enforcement veterans, and they say that it could take as long as 10 years to clear the mines scattered over such a wide area by Hurricane Mitch.
Now, instead of doing 200,000 square meters, we might have to do 200 million square meters because everything's moved.
These specially trained dogs can smell the explosive charge. And teams from Nicaragua, Honduras, and Costa Rica are now learning how to work with the animals. We have to do this Nicaraguan soldier says, so that fewer people will die. It is a dangerous process, but Terry Fisher has lost only one dog in an explosion. That was in Afghanistan. Here's what they do. A piece of lint is dropped to determine the wind direction. The dog moves into the wind so he can smell the explosive before he steps on the mine. Then he sits to mark the spot and waits for the command to carefully retrace his steps.
Diving. Come on, Rolf. Come on.
The mines are then dug up and detonated. It is a painstaking process, and in a region that has lost many of its homes, roads, and bridges, the rebuilding cannot begin until many areas have been cleared of mines. Mike Von Fremd, ABC News, Tegucigalpa.
As deadly as the storm was, few people felt the full fury of Hurricane Mitch because it weakened to a tropical storm shortly after hitting land. 31 crew members aboard the tall ship Phantom did feel Mitch's fury, and none of them survived. The question now being asked by their families is, why was the Phantom at sea at all? ABC's Bill Redeker reports.
She was the flagship of Windjammer's fleet, a 300-foot reconditioned tall ship called the Fantôme, a schooner that plied the Caribbean carrying vacationers to exotic ports of call. 3 weeks ago tonight, Anthony Moffa and Karen Rutledge boarded the ship for what would be its final voyage.
There was the ship sitting out there, all lit up, but it was a very impressive sight to see the ship out there. So even though we had the rain, and there wasn't an ominous feeling at that point.
But when the Fantôme weighed anchor that night, she was doomed to the fury of Hurricane Mitch and its 180-mile-per-hour winds. Setting sail from Honduras to avoid the storm, Captain Guillaume March first headed west and then north to Belize. All 97 passengers disembarked safely.
I felt somewhat guilty that we were all going to a safe haven, and the future for Captain Guillaume and his men was questionable.
Questionable because the captain and his crew of 30 headed back out to sea, a frequently used strategy to avoid losing a ship in the harbor.
We had a choice to stay in the path of the storm or to get out, and of course our choice was to get out of the way.
But once at sea and now headed southeast away from the storm, something unpredictable occurred. Hurricane Mitch suddenly changed course and for an unbelievable 18 hours raged around the ship until all that was left was scattered wreckage.
What happened is that the forecasters were wrong. The Phantom is virtually cut off by the change of course of the hurricane.
The families of some of the crewmen are now suing Windjammer, charging the captain should never have set sail that awful night, that the company cared more about saving its ship than the lives of its crew.
To attempt to sail out the most terrible hurricane in 100 years is just insanity. It was a suicide mission.
While the courts now take up that question, nearly everyone agrees that no matter how good the ship and crew, sometimes storms seem to hunt down ships until they win. Bill Redeker, ABC News, New York.
Black activist Stokely Carmichael died today in Africa. A leader of the Black Panther Party in the 1960s, Carmichael was one of the first to use the slogan Black Power. Carmichael, who changed his name to Kwame Ture, was 57 years old. A spokesperson says he died of prostate cancer. When we come back, the Boy Scouts adjust to a brave new world.
Discover the fiber therapy that tastes so good, people prefer it over Metamucil, 2-to-1. Discover Citracel, the only fiber powder that won't produce excess gas. Citracel, no excess gas and better taste, too.
When arthritis pain hurts, you want relief fast. But some pills can cause stomach irritation, rubs can have odor. Aspercream's different. Rubbing an Aspercream relieves minor arthritis pain. No stomach irritation, no odor. Aspercream, pain relief without aspirin.
Do rich people have more friends than the rest of us? Are they more deserving of a comfortable seat? Are they more entitled to brake safely on a rainy day? Are we the only car company that doesn't think so? Century by Buick, full of amenities for under $20,000. And now Century's an even better value. Save over $2,200 with 1.9% APR financing on every 99. Century by Buick, a luxury car for everyone.
You thought it was over with, but you're still smoking. You keep trying to quit, but you keep lighting up. Zyban can help you look at quitting a whole new way. It's the nicotine in cigarettes that's addictive. It's been proven. and most people need help to quit. Today, there's nicotine-free Zyban. Not a patch, not a gum. Instead, the first pill that is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor can help you quit smoking. Zyban is prescription medicine that can help reduce your urge to smoke and make quitting bearable. It's important to know there's a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you've had an eating or seizure disorder or are being treated with Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you're taking an MAO inhibitor. Quitting is tough, and Zyban won't work for everyone. Call now for a $5 coupon and free product information. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you, and break free from nicotine. Break free from smoking.
After an 8-month investigation, the Washington Post reported today that D.C. police officers shoot and kill people more frequently than any other police force in the country. The situation has received very little attention, partly, the Post says, because internal investigations of the shootings are secretive and disorganized. Attorneys general from most of the states in the nation will spend this week studying a new deal with the tobacco industry. It will be officially announced tomorrow. Under the plan, the tobacco companies would pay $206 billion over the next 25 years to compensate states for the cost of treating sick smokers. The agreement would not protect the companies from individual or class action lawsuits. A new edition of the Boy Scout Handbook comes out tomorrow. 1 million scouts will get a lesson in subjects that are a lot more complicated than fishing or tying a slip knot. ABC's Jamie Floyd explains.
Boy Scouts still learn how to set up tents and build fires, but the new Boy Scout Handbook is changing with the times.
What we have decided to do is to look at the book from the point of view of how is it going to work for kids in the 21st century.
A lot has changed since 1910, when the Boy Scouts of America was founded and the first handbook was published. It's updated every 10 years.
We have a section in the new handbook called Prepared for Life, and it deals with the things that young boys run into every day.
Expanded sections on smoking and sex, and an all-new section on the internet.
There are several pages in the book that deal with indicators for the scout who may be communicating in the chat room to look for that may be from a potential predator.
Scouting has always been about knowing right from wrong. Some of the topics in the new handbook are distinctly modern, but the values taught to this generation of Boy Scouts are the same values taught to their fathers.
It's in the family. My father was, my uncle was, my grandfather was. So it's like a rotation.
Even as the world around them changes at breakneck speed, the pledge and the values of the Boy Scouts do not.
The 12 words of the Scout law: trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Those 12 simple words don't change.
But the packaging for the words has changed. It's slick, color-coded, and linked to the internet. Jamie Floyd, ABC News, New York.
Checking the weekend box office, The Waterboy is still #1. It earned $25 million. In second place, the horror movie sequel, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, with $17 million. Meet Joe Black opened at #3. When we come back, why some traditionalists here in London are flipping their wigs.
I didn't need a wimpy laptop. I needed a desktop that travels. They said, "Do you like movies?" And I said, "You talking to me?"
Introducing Yourware, technology that grows with you. When you call 1-800-GATEWAY, we can custom build you a portable desktop with an Intel Pentium 2 processor and a DVD drive for movies, all for just $87 a month. And in 2 years, you can trade it in toward the purchase of a new one.
I love this part. Me too.
Call us, and let's talk about Yourware from Gateway.
Okay, and stretch, and bend, and stretch.
Unlike ordinary pickles, Clausen just won't bend.
Everybody, stretch and bend.
When it comes to taste, we make them cold and keep them cold. So enjoy the cold snap of Clausen.
Some things are just better in St. John's Bay, like our combed cotton turtlenecks for him and her, with a heavier knit and a more generous cut. Just $10.50 only at JCPenney.
Just doesn't get any better. Yep. JCPenney.
Announcing an amazing discovery. One-A-Day has combined the power of herbs with vitamins to help you during the cold season, support your mood, even memory. New from One-A-Day. Just what you need to feel your best.
Enterprise rent-a-car for my trip? Looks expensive.
It's not expensive, Mom.
They pick us up? Sounds expensive.
Pickup's free, Mom.
Well, if it's not expensive, why didn't I get a convertible?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. On 2020 Tonight, Barbara Walters interviewed with Christopher Reeve about his triumphant return to the screen and the new twists in his remake of Rear Window on 2020 Tonight.
Monday, Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, our series on cosmetic surgery begins, plus Front Row to History, ABC's Peter Jennings' account of the century.
On Good Morning America.
Finally tonight, there'll always be an England, as the refrain goes, but it may not always look the same. ABC's Jim Wooten on the hair-raising, make that wig-raising scheme now before the House of Lords.
In this land of pomp and circumstance, no circumstance is more pompous than the Queen's opening of Parliament, a ceremony unchanged since Henry VIII was in diapers. The Lord Chancellor, this fellow with the big hair, can't even turn his back on the Queen. Because she can't be trusted? No, out of respect. Though last year was the last time. This backward walk is silly, he told the Queen, and she said, fine, just don't do it anymore. And now the Lord Chancellor, who presides in the House of Lords in full regalia, wants to get rid of that too. For male adults of sound mind like myself, I hope I am, that the days of breeches and tights and buckled shoes should really go. Why not an ordinary business suit, Lord Irvine asks. For traditionalists like Baroness Young, he may as well be advocating nudity.
Next year we'll have something else. We've already had a cutting down of the ceremony of introduction. And all this is chipping away at the House of Lords to no good purpose at all.
Although the issue of breeches might be seen as a slightly small and trivial issue, for many peers it is considered the thin end of the wedge.
Now, if this is the thin end of the wedge, then I don't like it at all.
Michael Skinner's haberdashery makes all those outfits and costumes.
To have one of the officers, great officers of state, talking about downgrading his illustrious uniforms, I think it's an absolute travesty.
Indeed, and from the traditions of Savile Row to other more common streets of London, the argument is no less intense.
Britain is steeped in tradition, and it should be kept like that.
I think you should change it. I think it's pretty stuffy.
Change the underwear, but leave the top okay.
I agree that you shouldn't walk backward. That I think is absurd. But to wear the uniform, which you know, is England.
Ah, yes, the uniform is England. How very British. And when the House of Lords debates and votes on this question tomorrow, that will probably be its verdict too. For a few more centuries at least, the Lord Chancellor will be stuck with the wig, the robes, and the tights. Jim Wooten, ABC News, London.
And that's World News Tonight for this Sunday. Later on 2020 Sunday, an exclusive interview with an American captured in France after 16 years on the run. I'm Elizabeth Vargas in London tonight. For all of us at ABC News, good night.
This week on World News Tonight, you know, there are only about 400 days until the end of the century. Some people are talking about Armageddon, others about money.
On World News Tonight.
We're suing you.
What?
Don't mess with these lawyers.
Hey! We've got no problem getting ugly. I am the judge, and act like one.
All new practice, ABC Tonight.
Aardvark. Biplane. Eiffel Tower. What can you do with $2? How about getting 2 sandwiches at McDonald's? 2 big beefy quarter pounders with cheese for $2. Or 2 morning fresh bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits for $2. 2 great sandwiches, $2. Did somebody say McDonald's?